Emotions ran high over day 2. What were the standout moments for both of you?
I mean, I think Bitloft fighting with Na'Vi on day 2 inside of those red houses was just a lot of fun. We saw some cool seat swaps, shoot downs, but I think seeing the rise up of G2, you were saying they were going to have a big day 2, and they sure did.
They sure did, but I mean, I feel like Athletico winning the games, that was just amazing to see.
Big up Athletico, man.
So far, they've been doing so good here. I don't think most people weren't expecting this at all. And now they're showing up, they're showing everyone, hey, we are this good. Yeah. Don't count us out.
I mean, the numbers said to expect it, but then we said, oh, those numbers can't be great. They're padded. It is what it is. And they come out here, they hold down 4th and 5th places until the chance to win approaches, and then they grab it, take it, and run with it, and I'm super proud of these guys.
Yeah, we had an awesome time with Flood and Extreme on the after show yesterday as well. And we'll have a very big special after show when the tournament's finished at the end of the day. But now let's take a look at the format and remind you guys of the schedule, what's transpired so far and what's happening today. So yeah, a total of $300,000 on the line, and of course the best performing team will secure their region an additional slot at the PUBG Global Championship. That is the distribution to the right-hand side of the screen, and we'll be going today until 10 PM, where we'll have our final circle show. Today, we will start off on Miramar, and then go into the second half of the day on Erangel. So flipping it round once again, Toffees.
I mean, you want to finish where it all started, right? I mean, new maps come out. We've got amazing maps in PUBG, but at the end of the day, Erangel is still our sweetheart. It's where we started. It's where we tested. It's where we fell in love with this game. So ending tournaments there is always a really wonderful thing for me.
For me, it's been so amazing to see all the teams stepping their game up on Miramar itself. So nowadays, I feel like it's kind of equal. I love seeing the teams play on both the maps. Some teams are better on Miramar, some teams are better on Erangel. It's all about balancing that out.
I think that's been one of the striking developments over time, is how much teams have adapted to playing on Miramar, as opposed to teams just preferring to be on Erangel, Toffees.
I mean, it's a very different style of play. The way that rotations are handled on Miramar versus Erangel is night and day. There's a lot of far more open spaces, car usage. Like teams that like to sort of run and frag like Na'Vi definitely prefer Miramar in a lot of ways because of the fact that you can get away from punishing situations. I mean, if you're crossing, Pachinki Fields, there's no chance if you get caught in the open that you're going to survive that if you're on foot, whereas Miramar, there's always sort of somewhere to slip away to.
I mean, Miramar, you have so much more open space, so much more sniping capabilities. True. And we used to call it Liquid Mar for a reason. Nowadays, though, they have gone back to Erangel, and that's where they're doing good.
Liquid Mar. Talking about Liquid and the other teams, let's get up the leaderboard and show everybody at home what the standings are here at the start of day 3. FaZe Clan sit at the top, 4 points ahead of Athletico, and then Liquid are in 3rd, and G2 Esports follow in 4th, and then we see Na'Vi. Guys, what can you tell us about the spread on screen? At this point, you know, only some teams can be in contention. What does that mean for the other teams? Just run us through what you see.
I mean, the top 4 right now, they have a good lead there, but don't count anyone out. I mean, down to 8th place there on the Rumblers. They can still make it back. It's not impossible. And we know that FaZe Clan, they like to chase. They don't want to be in the top and being chased by the other teams. Athletico, a team that is comfortable being on the top, right now, they're in 2nd place.
Yeah, it's one of those things when you watch even traditional sports, the idea that when you're in front, you sometimes want to play defensively, maintain your lead, and that's always a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. Play the game that you've been playing the whole time, unless you're one of those teams in 10 or below. Now it's time to shake things up if you're down there. Remember, only the top 8 places pay, Paula. So even the teams who are in 13 through 15, they still have a chance to get a payday. And for some of these small regions, OCE for instance, no one gets a salary down there. So winning, or at least finishing in the money here, is a pretty big deal for these guys. So look for Hell Yeah Brother, for instance, to come out with guns blazing and look to pick up big points right out of the gate.
Yeah, it's a great point that you raise, Toffees. Speaking to Flood and Extreme on the after show yesterday, they actually have a very centered mindset. They've come here and competed at the biggest tournament of their career so far, and they said, look, we're doing well, we're in 2nd at this point, but we're not going to let that get to us. We're going to play the same game. Yes. We're not going to try to lead from the front or focus too much on a specific thing. We're just going to continue doing what we've done so far. What do you think of that, guys?
I mean, I talked with them earlier as well, and they all looked so happy. And as I said, no one expected them to do so good, not even themselves, actually. They had, on Twitter, someone was putting them on 4th place. They're like, sure, hey, that's pretty kind of you, but we don't really think that will happen. Right now, they're currently sitting on 2nd place, and I mean, 4th place, that's probably worst case scenario for them right now.
The reality is they started the tournament the way that they needed to. A lot of the teams, North America in particular, I feel, showed up here. They thought, hey, we're contenders, but they played thinking, this is a much harder lobby than we're used to. Let's turtle up a little bit. Let's not be ourselves. Athletico came in and everyone was telling them this is a lot harder than your region. And they said, you know what? We don't care. We're going to play our game. We saw them doing crazy 2-2 splits, 1-1-2 splits. And they didn't. They said, you know what? We're taking the risk. We're not changing the way that we did things back home. And it's been very effective. Now, the question is, as the rest of the field today throws caution to the wind, will they be punished for sort of their territory grabbing tactics?
Yeah, I'd love to delve into that point a bit deeper with both of you. For the teams now that, I mean, it's either highly unlikely or impossible for them to get into top 8 or even increase upon that.
Right.
How does that change the dynamic of the matches?
I mean, so there's 4 things that we're playing for in this tournament, right? Number 1, you're playing for 1st place in the trophy heist.
Yeah.
Number 2, you're playing for the extra spot for your region. Number 3, you're playing for money. And then remember, every region has multiple teams from their region here in this tournament. So the 4th thing you're playing for is regional pride. It's gonna be valuable. Even if you're, say, fighting in the bottom, you wanna finish above all of your countrymen. You wanna put up a good number so everyone back home is at least proud of you and sees the effort you put in. So some of these teams on the bottom, sure, they're shooting for the money, but I think they're also shooting to sort of show, hey, we had a rough start, but this is not who we are.
Adding to that, a lot of the players and teams themselves are playing on a grand stage like this for the first time, and they have a lot of experience to grab from this tournament itself for the next one. And one thing they want to do is win a game. Right now, the bottom 8 teams actually don't have a win yet. Grabbing a win, getting up on the stage, getting interviewed by Rachel, that's something you just want to experience yourself.
I mean, I look forward to the day that I get to be interviewed by Rachel. Like, I mean, honestly, like players have said, this is a really cool experience, and you know they want to have it. Guys like Hell Yeah Brother, this is their chance to sort of get into that spotlight. You don't know if it's going to come again for them. On the other hand, you got guys like Luke 12 out of Athletico that was supposed to have land jitters, but apparently that's not a real thing for him.
Indeed. Thank you so much, guys, for your initial points. Now we are going to head to a short break, and then after that, we will be ready with match 1 of the final day here at the GLL Grand Slam PUBG Classic.
I know what the gamble is, believe I'ma handle this. I'll be set on the stage, ready to go. The way that I know, you don't know me, I'm the winner. Expert in the game, can't mean I'm no beginner. I'll be set on the stage, ready to go. The way that I know, you don't know me, I'm the winner. Expert in the game, can't mean I'm no beginner. I've been there, I'm real. I've been into work when I'm ill. I've grafted, I've signed on, been laid off, been kept on, done cleaning, built vans, and I come on my night with paint on my hands. Had no funds, had no phone, had bare stress, been so low. I've chased claims, been so mad, got so deep, been so sad. I've fixed up, I've hit back, I've picked up, I'm so glad. I work hard, I stay strong, and I do it again in a heartbeat. And it's nothing to do with luck, so don't give up. Set on the stage, ready to go. The way that I know, you don't know me, I'm the winner. Expert in the game, can't mean I'm no beginner. I'll be set on the stage, ready to go. The way that I know, you don't know me, I'm the winner. Expert in the game, can't mean I'm no beginner.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ever closer to getting into that first match of the day. I am so excited to see how the teams fare with the extra pressure of it being the final day of the tournament. Either way, now I'd like to focus in on one of the teams that we haven't seen too much from over the course of the tournament, and also a team that I was lucky enough to run into when we were filming a video at the start of the day. Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, I mean, great name, great picture, gotta love the flesh, right? Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
It's a great option, and these guys, I like them. They're sort of, to me, the OCE version of the Rumblers in a lot of ways. Sort of these perennial journeymen within the PUBG scene that have been working their behinds off, and I think they really deserved this opportunity. The problem is they're just not capitalizing on it right now.
I mean, sure, it's the first time being in a LAN event like this. It's so much rougher than you can actually believe it is. When you come here, you have a mentality. Everybody picks you up on coming out on 16th place, and you're like, well, we want to do better than that.
Yeah.
But in the end, right now, they're having so much fun being here, and I'm so happy to see that.
Yeah, I mean, they're having fun, but they're also performing relatively well. I mean, Chungy's been doing some great things. I think we've seen some glimmers of greatness. On the other hand, we also haven't seen, say, a good Yosnaya circle that favors them yet. We've gone to military a couple of times instead. So they've also sort of been chasing instead of being able to get something in their favor. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And if you don't get the snowball running in the first place, it's hard to catch it afterwards and make it bigger.
Absolutely. Now, I will say this. I love having this many OCE guys here because they are a heck of a lot of fun,
They're
both
a
in-game and out.
bunch of funny dudes, right?
Yes.
Guys, I've been given a note in my ear. There is a grey Audi in the car park with lights on. Not sure who owns it, but I've been told if you'd like to save your car's battery, you can. I'm not sure if this is... There might even be keys inside it. So if you want to save your car, grey Audi in the car park.
Sounds like if you want a new car, there's a grey Audi in the car park.
Yeah.
Keys inside.
I'm not sure if this is a skit. I'm pretty certain this is a real thing. Yeah, grey Audi in the car park, guys. It's a real thing, and thank you very much. Yeah, please, if that's your grey Audi, go out, save it. Keys, lights on. Anyway, sorry, Toffees, for the interruption there. You were talking about Hell yeah, brothers, the feeling within the team.
I mean, I think the team is, they're still just excited to be here, right? They're not going to be happy with the finish, but at the end of the day, the expectations were probably the lowest for them coming out of the OCE. And I know that the guys back home watching them play, the community there is very close-knit, and they're going to be loving the time that they're getting. And, you know, I also want to point out Chungy has been the #1 vaulter out of the entire thing. I don't know what he's doing, just jumping back and over fences, but he's vaulted like 50 more times than the nearest competitor.
Yeah, as you guys mentioned, HYB are currently sat in 16th, in last place. When I ran into them downstairs, they said, yeah, hopefully we're just not going to come last. They're currently 13 points behind Singularity. There's a chance for them to improve their position a few spots potentially, Patrick.
I mean, definitely. All you need is kind of a decent game. If you have a decent game, that's going to push you up. And I mean, we still have 6 more games to go, so anything could happen, even in the bottom. I mean, there's still a possibility that they could push themselves up into the money, into the top 8.
I mean, they're finding them in the same spot as a couple of the North American teams. You know, you saw that video before we started where I said North America has to start strong and push the rock down the hill. OCE was in the same boat. You want to start with momentum, but these guys are now on the bottom, and they've got to push that rock back uphill instead. The task is Sisyphean, but it doesn't mean it's totally impossible. I hope that they come out strong. I hope that the NA teams come out strong. But right now, this is starting to feel very much like an EU experience.
We will have to see. And now, we've got something pretty darn cool. We've got Rachel down on the floor or in the booth, ready to chat, I think, with some of our budding teams. Rachel, are you there?
I am, and it's funny you say down on the floor because it is very high. Can you show them how high up this is? This is a little bit of an extra stress, I feel like, if you're one of these top-tier teams over here. Is it a little weird playing at this elevation?
Yeah, look, it does get a little bit wobbly up the stage when everyone's walking up and down. It might shake the mouse a bit, but look, we've got a good view down here in the crowd, so hell yeah, brother! Yeehaw!
A lot of people excited to see Hell Yeah Brother here, and big part of that, you got a lovely logo. You want to tell me a little bit about your style?
Yeah, so our logo is actually McClutch is one of the PUBG members for OC, and we thought we wanted to bring him over here with us, but we couldn't, so we thought we'd bring his face over instead.
The OC region sounds incredible. So you guys have so much personality coming out of there. The gameplay that you bring is a little bit of a different flavor. Tell me more about the region. What makes you guys special?
Look, we're a bit sheltered from the other regions. The other regions get to have their LANs and all the things like that, which is good practice. In OC, our pro circuit is online. So that is a little bit of a different. We only get to verse each other, and it's good to get out here on the main stage. It's good to see Athletico smashing it in this tournament. We've been having a couple of problems ourselves, but we're hoping to iron them out today and try to crack into the top 10.
And what's it been like coming out here to Sweden? You say you have fun at the tournament, but we are in Stockholm. It's a beautiful city. You guys came a little bit ahead of time. What was the boot camp like? How did you prepare?
The boot camp was good. We came a couple of days early, went to Inferno, which is in Stockholm City. We had a couple of days there to run over some scrims and just acclimatise. I think that was the big thing. The sun going down at like 1 o'clock in the morning and then rising back up in 3 is a bit of a headache for us Australians, but we got a couple of days to warm it up, and now we're feeling a bit better now, so that's good.
What's the best thing you've eaten since you've been here?
It's actually been a lot of good food at the hotel that we've been having, but I'd had to say the burgers. It'd be strange to say in Sweden, but yeah, I've got to tell the truth, so here we are.
That's a really safe plate. You haven't tried the Skagen yet?
I don't even know what that is, so...
Oh, it's the tiny shrimp and the creme fraiche with the dill and the lemon?
I haven't tried that one yet, but we'll have to give it a try after this, eh?
Yeah, we'll grab some dinner later, make sure these guys are well fed, win or lose, but give me an over-under. How are you guys going to do today as a team?
Well, we've had a couple of issues during the first couple of days, just trying to warm up and working our timing and our synergy and stuff like that in the big stage, but I think we've got it all ironed out, so today's going to be a day to watch out for us.
Yeah, you're our first team highlighted in the first match, and since we have the opportunity, we're hanging out up here. You guys want to plug some social media, do some shout-outs, anything like that?
Yeah, HYB_PUBG was our main tag, and Vasily, Charlie, Nick101, Chungi, and Crush behind me, so check us out on Twitter.
Great, fantastic group of guys. Thanks for letting me pop in here and visit you before the match. Let's send it back to the desk. What do you think of this team?
I love them.
I love them as well. And Vasily, they're doing a great job of answering Rachel's question. Seems like a nice guy.
He is a really nice guy.
Yeah.
So when we landed and he came over to meet us, but like he saw us walking out of the hotel and he ran over to say hi. But what I noticed is he was having a smoke at the time and he literally put it down on the curb because he didn't want to bring it into our realm and ran over and said hello. And I was like, wow, what a thoughtful person. Like, I mean, it didn't have to happen, but it was just really cool to see somebody think of other people that way.
I must give him one piece of criticism, though. Don't be the guy that gets the chance to travel the world, and then when it's asked, what was your favorite thing that you ate during your travels? Oh, the burger. Come on, Vasily, come on. Disappointing me there, buddy.
Everyone knows you should get the Swedish meatballs here.
Swedish meatballs are great. Of course, it's your national treasure, right?
Sort of.
Anyway, we've got the HYB brothers, the Hell Yeah brothers, on screen right now with their overall stats. We see Charlie with 7 kills, and then just behind him, Vasily with 6. Overall damage, though, is highest with Chungi, and 7 knocks on Vasily. Crush, steady there as well.
I mean, the problem that we have, if you really want to outline things, though, is all of their kills added up are still 3 less than Luke 12 has by himself right now. And so I think that's where they're running into their trouble right now, is they're not playing the game that they want to. They're coming passively out of Yasnaya, for instance, on their rotations instead of sort of smashing into the teams that are nearby and looking for those pickoffs. And when you're a team like HYB, where maybe your macro isn't quite as good or your micro isn't, you're not a better shooter than everyone else, it's one of those things where you kind of have to make up for it with shock and awe tactics. And I hope that they bring that today.
I mean, trust me when I say this, when you're choking a tournament like this, it's really rough.
Yeah.
It's really rough to get out of that. And right now, they are trying hard, and hopefully they can get out of there. And I want to see more from them. I want to see them in the end game and see what they can bring to the game over there.
Moving on from HYB, which team do you think is going to start off the day strongest?
You know, it's funny to me because FaZe is doing great, typically FaZe Sunday, but they wanted to prove us wrong and went FaZe Saturday. And then last night, after we got back to the hotel, Tempo stopped me and they said, Toffees, it's a Tempo Sunday. We give you our word that we're going to come out swinging. We want to be called that. We want to show you something. So maybe they live up to it. I know they're coming in with big expectations for themselves, but Rumblers had a really like a pretty good first day, 2 big wins, and then a terrible, unspeakable second day, and I need to see more from them right now.
Yeah, well, Rumblers, who are currently in 8th, are right now down in their booth with Rachel.
True story. I ran all the way across. I came up a different set of stairs, and I want to point out a difference between that side of the stage and this side. More safety tape on this side. Was that a request on your part?
It's more of a necessity. I think we're very clumsy in transition, little rough rotations, but we made it. We made it here to Sunday, so.
Yeah, you know, all the teams do make it to Sunday. They play in every game. It's just, you know, I'm glad you guys did survive all 3 days. But Poro, it's so good to see you. We're part of the NPL talent team out in NA, and now you've taken on the role of coach. And I just want to know, what is it like taking care of this team?
Oh, they're easy. They're entirely too easy to take care of. In fact, they're kind of like cats. You know, you just you feed them and you just pour some food on the floor, and then they feed themselves. They take care of themselves the whole week. It's fantastic. You can go and do whatever you want.
Well, see, that means you're really going above and beyond, because I've seen you going around giving shoulder massages. You've been, you know, hanging out with them after the show, really taking care of. Did I not witness that?
You saw that?
We all saw that.
Well, you know, I try to go that extra mile for the boys.
Well, these boys have 1 day left of competition, so I want to know, in those hangouts after the show, as you talk strategy, as you review your VODs, what did you decide upon today that's going to change?
Just click heads, honestly.
That's crazy. You guys weren't doing that before?
You know, there was an effort made, but we were maybe clicking tummies and legs, but I really think we've narrowed it down to heads being the most effective thing to click.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for those competitive insights. I look forward to your performance in the tournament today. And I just want to say your credit to any team that you're on, and we miss you terribly, so come hang out with us again soon. Guys, watch NPL. In the meantime, watch this incredible tournament. Rumblers and the rest of the team is about to kick it off, and I'm giving it back to the desk.
We receive it. Thank you, Rachel and Porus. It was great to have Porus on our first after show, the final circle, the day before yesterday. And I think him and his team should be very proud at this point of being in 8th position and being in contention to improve their standing on the leaderboard.
Bold of him to talk about cats on Twitch right now. I would just stay away from that topic altogether. But apparently he feeds the guys by throwing their food on the ground, which I thought was pretty funny. He's like, they're like cats. I just toss the food on the ground. And they're like, yes, feed me. But they need some feeds. To get out of 8th place right now, they need other teams to maybe do that for them, to feed them a little bit as they come out of their drop spots, pick up some kills early, and they could maybe still be in this and maybe still have a shot at getting an extra spot for NA.
Well, let's be honest. Yesterday they had a terrible day. They got 9 points, and the first day they had 56 points. That's a big difference. Now, first day, they started off with 2 really, really bad games. They had 0 points coming out of those. But then they stepped it back up, and they got 2 wins. Now, I want to see them do the same thing today.
Absolutely.
Get a few wins, get it going.
Absolutely. Well, from HYB to Rumblers to now another Australian team, let's have a chat with Athletico.
To FaZe Clan versus Athletico. Down, looking back across this, Noidmate goes down as well. You see him spray off to the side of it, and look at that. That's going to be Athletico with 11 kills.
Beautiful execution there at the end of that game. Athletico is stating to the world right now that we are one of the best, and we have to be rated.
You guys are fucking doing well.
Look at that.
You do love to see OCE breaching OCE.
It's that close, like, and we're like last game of the second day. If you get a win, like even if you just do well, you had two today. Not back to back. Fuck. But like you do well today, you go into the last day with a huge advantage.
How's it going? Alright, so let's go crack the last game.
See you in Sweden, brother.
Oh. That's a lawsuit, buddy. Oh, info drop stuff. Besides that.
One more game, let's finish out strong.
Yeah.
Yep, play smart, no mistakes. People behind us. Shit behind us. Behind us. Outside the road. Yellow, bro, yellow, guys, priority.
I just got headshot.
They're gonna breach. Breaching.
Wait, can we drive?
Breaching.
Leave.
Right over here next to a doozy, still on the hunt for Zoid. Zoidmate looking around the outside of it, walks right up into this, a doozy with a nice spray to take him down. Coming alive now.
Did none of us see Navi pull up behind us?
Okay, stop. That fucking play down the left side of the map was it, bro.
What's your preference for Erangel or Miramar?
What, the map?
Yeah.
That's not bad, I think. We've been playing fine on both.
I think ours is pretty balanced right now. We've had ups and downs on both maps. I think overall, we're more comfortable on Erangel.
Enjoy yourselves. Thanks for talking, guys.
He's a big fan now. Their first time. Huge fan. Wow. Enjoy, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, so the day's been pretty well. Obviously, we got 2 wins today, so big improvement on yesterday. Couple of the games, there are a few errors, but nothing too major. Everything can be worked out, and yeah, like it's tight competition going into day 3, so it's very achievable to get the win here.
We knew we could do it. It's just about confidence for us. Like, we're capable, like strategically, we can analyze those teams. Yeah, so I knew we could do it, like, and we're doing better than I expected, to be perfectly honest. So we'll just try and come into the last day and see if we can dethrone one of the expected teams to win, I guess, cause an upset.
Let's see if we can dethrone, says Zoid. He's going to be looking at FaZe just above them, but I guess he means taking it to teams like Liquid as well, and other heavyweight names, and we wish them the best of luck. Guys, final thoughts before we get this match underway.
My best wishes are with Athletico. They have to go up against guys who've been their heroes for a long time, both above and below. The reality is Liquid, FaZe, and they are the ones in the hunt right now, and they probably have the most pressure on them. FaZe and Liquid, they've been here before. They know what it's like to be in the top 3. Athletico has to really push this. And remember, they play from home when they won their tournament, when they won their league. Now they have to see those guys on the stage and take them out while staring them in the eye.
FaZe has always been one of the biggest names here in PUBG.
Yes.
That people always call, hey, they're the face of Asia, etc., etc. Can we start calling FaZe the Athletico of EU?
Thank you guys so much for the help on this first segment of the day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for the first match of the day. Crowd, are you hyped? Demand, Hypok, over to you.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, here we go. It's game time, ladies and gentlemen. What you've all been waiting for, the final day of PUBG action. The nerves are even with Michael a little bit.
Just a little bit. But that's only because it's going to be so exciting.
It is going to be
We've actually got
exciting.
a series on our hands here.
Miramar time to begin with, and we're going to be moving on to the final 3 of Erangel. What's going to happen? There's 4 teams realistically with a chance, but you know, we've seen Cinderella stories. Pittsburgh Knights are well aware of Cinderella stories at the last day at the PEL, and even Tempo Storm to an effect at the last day of the MPL as well. And if you want to go even further back, Incognito's qualification into FaZe Global Summit, all these guys have had some massive, mega final days. And it can happen. It can happen, and obviously we've all been backstage talking to the players, chatting with them. The nerves are definitely there.
There is one thing. I was talking to Uber earlier, and he actually made a really interesting point. He actually said he's not happy that they're in first because they would rather chase them the last day.
That is the FaZe Sunday, right?
Yeah,
they're used to chasing. At least they're posting these monster performances. But we should talk about that. And, you know, the FaZe Saturday. Realistically, they could have had and should have had 3 wins yesterday, but Athletico stole 2 of them.
And I mean, for a team like Athletico to say, yeah, we came up in the final circle against FaZe twice, regardless of the circumstances, and came out on top. I mean, Zoid even said in there that they're looking to have these little confidence boosts, and that's got to be a huge one.
Well, it's a massive time to turn up for some of these guys. Uber coming into the FaZe team. It's took a little while to bed in, but they are the FaZe 2 winners of PEL. Coming into this, representing Europe, of course, as are 4 of the top 5. It's an incredible turnout for the European top 4. Kind of expected, but Athletico definitely upsetting things. Obviously, Spacestation Gaming, your boys,
all my brothers.
Are they going to have a big day? That's it. This is the MPL's final hope, it seems.
And I mean, that's, again, a similar story. Even previously when I played for that team, we were always kind of down to the wire. The last day was the day where they had to do things. And unfortunately, obviously, we were talking about tempo in the MPL. They had a complete opposite story to that on the last day of the MPL, where they came into it first and they finished up in 5th. So, I mean, hopefully they can shake that and come out, because we saw glimmers of hope yesterday. I mean, we saw them. There was one game they ended up with, was it 14 kills? And
yeah.
They were constantly chasing circles, and they were taking these scrappy fights outside, but they were cleaning them up and they were picking up points. And that's one of the things, when you're on the back foot, if you're still picking up points, you can deal with that.
It's the tricky position of, it's the age-old classic of PUBG. Do you go center? Do you go outside? Outside, you're going to get more kills, you're going to see more action, but you're also not going to have a comfortable position.
No.
Whereas if you sit in center, there might be a case of you win a game and you have about 3 or 4 kills. Yeah. So it's a tricky send-off, but of course you do get the 10 placement points. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the final day here at the GLL Grand Slam in Stockholm, Sweden. And we are going live on Miramar. The plane passing over Porto Paraíso up to El Pozo. will be relatively decent for most teams involved. I don't think anyone's going to be too upset. Long drop for G2, maybe up to the coastline of El Azahar. But outside of that, everybody will find their home.
Yeah, and again, yesterday we had some interesting planes. There was some audible drops on Miramar, and that's, I mean, luckily we didn't see too many mishaps coming from that, but obviously SSG, one of the teams we just talked about, they're going to have their Pozo drop here. So they're obviously more rehearsed on their Pozo rotations than the South drop.
So G2 made an adjustment. They've gone straight down South Porto Paraiso. It was arguably a long drop. You could make it to El Azahar, but obviously you're going to be floating through the air for about 2 minutes, so not ideal for looting.
More rehearsed on their
it does mean they're going to go down south side. We'll see how it works out. Hello, El Pozo up the top for Na'Vi. SSG also in there. Okay, Na'Vi are going to adjust back to La Cabrera. I was wondering, I was like, they were kind of like floating over Pozo. I was like, are they going to challenge game one? But no, everybody knows their place on Miramar.
And this is the thing, I don't think in the first set of games today we're going to see any, big changes in terms of drop spots or, early rotations or looking to shut teams down. But actually, interesting, one of the things I want to talk about was the Singularity camping of Liquid yesterday. And that was something interesting that actually set FaZe up to end up chasing all the way through to the second circle. But got the northeastern pop initially here, looking good for Cloud9. We've got Hell Yeah Brother, actually. This is not something we're used to seeing, is it?
Yeah, Vasily, we just heard from him on the stage, but we heard from him earlier on as well. He's on his loot run.
So we're actually going to be looting the same spots that we are looting in our region. So there's not going to be many changes there. It's all depending on if anyone wants to come along and contest. So we're going to find that out, I guess, in the scrims, but at the moment it doesn't look like we will have much contention.
No, it doesn't look like they're getting contested at all, in fairness. They are quite happy because G2 have not gone El Azahar, and that was obviously the territory that they were kind of bumping heads with G2 a little bit in scrims, but outside of that, not really too much pressure. As you can see, the middle ground, that's really where the problems are, where there's the likes of Ghost, Cloud9, Singularity, Athletico, Red Canids, all kind of bumping in this area. I've spoke to Team Liquid about a circle like this before, and obviously this is, while you have Picardo, and it's great, you're in the center, because this sort of area, it's the same in PEL, there's so many teams spread around here, it is a nightmare for them to rotate.
Yeah.
Now, ordinarily, we would see them going deep over to the east and then north and run, but you got Tempo Storm there now.
Yeah, and then this is the thing. This is where we like to see kind of I guess the mismatch between lobbies. Once we get these weird scenarios where teams cross paths, and again, just talking about earlier, Singularity yesterday, they looked hungry to camp Liquid's rotates on the way out of Picardo, and ultimately they didn't manage to shut too much down. But even that 30 to 45 seconds off your rehearsed rotation, I guess, can actually throw you off into phase 3 and onwards.
Well, it's going to be tough rotates for Rumblers. I'm wondering where they're going to go. Na'Vi, though, this is great for Na'Vi. This is the opener that they need. They can just go straight across, straight to, say, water treatment. We've seen a lot of these circle finishing in and around water treatment as well. This is a kind of a common finish area.
And actually, there's a couple of these compounds as well that, come phase 1, they're high traffic areas as well. People are obviously diving for these compounds that are kind of off to the east of water treatment, and even the ones down to the south, just coming north of San Martin. They're hot spots. You can sit there. You can get a lot of fire down on the vehicles transitioning past, and again, ultimately, that kind of shuts down second rotations.
Well, there's a little engagement already. Cloud9, they are kind of split looting at the moment, but I just saw Profi taking shots towards Ghost. I saw Nerf. I don't know whether he was taking shots or receiving damage from Athletico up on high on the edges of San Martin. Of course, it's always the danger. If you're in that middle position and it is your loot drop, then you need to group quicker and quicker. Or do you go greedy? Do you try and take as much as the landmass as you can?
And I think C9's one of the teams we need to talk about today. And I think this is definitely a factor coming in today, whether or not they're going to have the confidence for these kind of, they need to assert some pressure early game, stop people from coming to, their area. Obviously, they're dropping somewhere completely different than they used to. As we do actually catch the Singularity and Team Liquid rotation.
I tell you, this is a ballsy rotation. They are, okay, yeah, all right. They're going to pull up, they're going to check, and then they're going to scout, and then they're going to move again and go a little closer. This is pretty ballsy, because to drive straight north out of Picardo, you know that there's possibly 4 to 5 teams you're going to bump into.
Yeah, and we actually saw Team Liquid and Singularity clash at the same compound that Singularity have gone to now, and obviously we had Rumblers come in with the third party, but it's looking like that's actually not affected their mentality today. They're still committing to the same pathing.
They're going straight to Hacienda, and looks like it's going to be Team Liquid. They're going to get in safe because, well, Athletico and Cloud9 have both moved north. Ghost have kind of shoved it over a little bit. But G2, we talked about them. They were kind of dropping out of their standard position, and they have caught one out. They've also been knocked. Rexco done and flushed. Harold finish him off, and that means G2, the points chasers, 97 points, just 10 points off top, losing one early on, the first man down.
Yeah, and it looks like the early rotation wars for Tempo continuing today as well. We've got a Crush actually looking like. Actually, Tempo have come all the way northwest here, past Junkyard, and actually Hell Yeah Brother on a huge split here, Lee.
I'm intrigued what's going on in the north. FaZe look like they might bump into Space Station. Space Station are a pretty slow rotate, just more cautious of Na'Vi. Obviously, La Cabrera being their drop, and FaZe might run straight into them. Hell Yeah, though, Tempo very much taking shots on one another. Chung with the Kar98, seeing if he can land anything. Zampa's miles away, by the way. He's just finished off looting a crate way out on the Eastern Road.
Textbook Zampa.
He's miles off.
But again, early game, this could be something that's going to, maybe switch their playstyle up a bit. If they get an Orm, if they get an M249, they're going to play a bit more aggro, and I think that really plays towards Tempo's strengths, which we haven't seen them demonstrate this weekend.
Bitloft coming up on the South Road as well. May bump into the back of this battle at the moment. Red Canids also making the way across towards Minas Generalis. So this is all sort of happening on the south side of the circle. You can see Na'Vi is slowly coming in as our Space Station and FaZe on the north. So they're all just finding their positions. The Rumblers have finally come out of Commissary. They're pretty slow moving at the moment.
Yeah, and again, it was a fast stretch for them. I'm not sure whether or not they had vehicles or anything to get straight to the loot spot, but one thing I do want to say is obviously SSG yesterday were rotating pretty late, and they're actually in front of a couple of teams. So I do want to see them get a bit further towards center, have an opportunity to take a central compound or a central position in phase 2, and really carry that fragging power from yesterday into today.
It's something we noticed yesterday, right? They were very, very slow to react to circle changes. If it was a hard shift down south or north, they were kind of methodical about it, and then almost lost the compound because of it. So
yeah.
lost positional placement because somebody would just jump the gun ahead of them.
And actually yesterday, the only circle we saw them rotate fast on was this western circle that we saw pop just south of Pozo with Central. And I mean, that's okay, but these safe wraps, you're never going to get yourself to a game-winning position in kind of phase 3, and ultimately you don't get the kills because of that, because you're nowhere near the action.
Oh, there's FaZe. They're going further north, so whether they just caught a glimpse of Space Station up here or what, I don't know. Space Station have gone onto the main road ahead of them, but they're choosing to play very deep. So this could be FaZe. I'm wondering if they're going to continue way around north, knowing damn well this, because of the plane path, Cruz del Val, El Zahar, Tierra Bronca, Campo Militar further north, they're all completely empty. So they're just thinking, if we wrap right around to Cruz del Val coming that way, we're going to have a free run.
Just as an insider prediction, I'm going to say SSG are going to the northeast compounds of water treatment. That would be what
they're going further north.
That would be what I expect for them to cut south now and take control of that top hill.
Take a deep south. All right, we'll see how it works out for you. See if the prediction, see if they're still playing from the same book of Hyde Park when you were there, where the Valiant's making the same calls. It looks like they're continuing to Cruz del Val to me, though. They are continuing along the main road. There's a long way out. Everybody's inside. Rumblers playing. And actually, Rumblers choosing to stick, by the way, down south. They're just slowly scouting and rotating and moving forward as we see the LATAM teams. That is a hard shift. Look at G2. They're
are loving it.
They've just rolled into their home of El Zahar, sadly losing a player. However, historically, they do terrible on an El Zahar circle.
Well, actually, and I really love these circles just because of this valley that kind of comes out west of Azahar. These compounds aren't diveable. You can't play them early on, so it all comes down to the team that can position to kind of secure it for the late game. But we're going to see a huge migration of all these teams coming in from the west side. We actually see, Ghost, Singularity, and C9 all on top of each other, just taking shots at each other in rotation.
This northern rotate now from SSG and FaZe could work out well. They could be coming into the backside of maybe on the hills of El Zahar. Atletico are going to beat them to it because they're taking a more direct route. Na'Vi following behind as well. Singularity there, you saw them taking shots down on Cloud9. This is kind of positional play, but they're more, despite the fact they were pretty deep central position, they are way out on their side. That's a good return fire on Pome.
Yeah, and I think Singularity just need to kind of turtle a little bit here. Just look for the safe kills and rotation. There's no point pushing out at this point, but they are actually positioned way far over to the west of this. So potentially they're going to look for a rotate, but again, if you see the volume of players around them, they've not really got many places to go. We've actually seen Team Liquid opt to take a wide wrap down to the south, and actually almost following kind of Rumbler's path from the southwest corner of the previous set.
They were in Hacienda, so they've decided instead, because everybody's just gone straight across, and you can hear everybody clashing into one another, so it is going to be maybe a wise route, who knows? Rumblers are going to catch ahead of them. It depends where they cut in. Do they cut in at Minas Generalis, in which case we can see that Incognito are holding a pretty greedy spread around Graveyard Minas Generalis size.
Yeah, we've actually seen Incognito and Red Canids actually trading knocks back for the last like 3 minutes now. So they're just kind of feeling each other out. This is a removal of helmets and armor and whatnot, preparing for the late game fight.
Quiet start to Sunday. 11 minutes gone, just Brexico down. A couple of knocks, but everybody else going to get revived. So it has been a slow, steady start. The Knights have just pulled in there, trading blows with Singularity in the distance as Rumblers find themselves at home. This is over on the southeastern side of the circle now, just sort of south of Bitloft. Now Team Liquid continuing to traverse way around the southern edge. FaZe, oh no, Space Station, they delayed at Tierra Bronca for whatever reason, and FaZe have got ahead of them.
Yeah.
Okay, they've gone for a 2-2. J-Sank's got ahead. Okay, J-Sank and Bahawaka down below. But FaZe are going to come right in behind him and split them.
But this is one thing, though. Look how much ground FaZe have made up just by, not stopping so much and being more confident with this wrap round to the
north side. No. Valiant and Hetero are going to go right past FaZe. FaZe are all pulling up.
They see it as well.
They're going into IT's compound. IT might see them. So they're going to go north. They're going to go straight past. Hetero gets across. He's going to take shots onto Valiant's backside in the buggy. He took the tire out, and that's put him in the field. So now he's open field. The rest of FaZe are on the hill. This is going to be a Turkish shoot. There we go. That is not a good start for Space Station.
Hetero's actually pulled up as well, so I'm hoping he's pulled up in some soft cover in this terrain, and he has the option to get out. He is back in his vehicle, but actually the third party coming in from Athletico here as well. So they're very aware of these rotations coming in from the north late.
J-Sank and Baja have also come north, so they're trying to join and back it up, but they realize he's lost, so they just can continue south. They know well aware that FaZe are behind them. And for Athletico, they've just watched that. They suddenly know we have FaZe Clan behind them, but that is another southern shift. Look at Liquid's rotation. It's paid off so well.
And I mean, this is fantastic because they heard all that shooting. Obviously, I'm assuming they saw these vehicles passing them at Hacienda, wrap round to the south, and they've now come down to the point of the circle that's least congested because everybody went through that same pathing.
Look at this valley, this northern valley. Ghost Gaming up there with Cloud9. But you've got Na'Vi, Athletico, and FaZe. I mean, this is a massive open valley, this road. It's no man's land.
And the problem being is actually G2, where they've moved to, these two compounds that they're about to get over here on the east side actually control pretty much all of the terrain around it. You can't pull up anywhere, you can't sit at the top because you'll lose your tires from 500-600 meters away. So G2 actually in a position where they can deny all of the rotates from anybody on the east side.
Atletico have managed to get over the ridge, so they've got up on the hillside, so they're kind of safe. They do have FaZe bumping in. Space Station have chose to go further east. Looks like FaZe are going to maybe turn. This path will put them right into the back of the Athletico. Team Liquid, they see Waikikamuka from Incognito. He gets taken down. Ibi will catch him out on the rotate. That was a wide spread, remember, from Incognito. They were greedy across Minas Generalis. No support for Waikikamuka there.
No, and I don't know if this is intentional in leaving two players north of Minas.
Right above FaZe Clan on El Azhar. This is not inside the circle, by the way. FaZe have to still get up the hillside as the Na'Vi, but they are seeing FaZe Clan down below. And they also have Athletico across the ridgeline that will be staring right at them.
And actually, Athletico moving straight into the compound that G2 were occupying. So, again, spot on scouting here from Athletico to identify that and get across as soon as G2 had rotated.
G2 go deeper. Space Station still not inside. Cloud9 still trying to find the way in. The same with the Knights down the south side. So 4 teams still trying to find an angle of some way, a clear path to get inside the circle.
Yeah, and actually Jukesy on the south side of the Incognito split, he's going to have all 4 of the Knights pulling up on him right now. And this is the problem with running this split. If a team is rotating together and they decide to pull up on you, there's nothing you can do as a solo.
I mean, he's taking shots. I'm not sure about that. A doozy sends it, and that doesn't work out for him. FaZe Clan gifted another point. That's 2 and counting. Remember, at the top of the table, Athletico are going to be seeing this playing out and thinking, we want some of this. They're well aware that FaZe Clan are down below them, but they can't overpeak because now we are looking.
And I'm not sure if Na'Vi had actually identified the FaZe, because FaZe are in a spot you wouldn't really expect to see a team occupying here. But, well,
that's never going to work, surely. That's going to have a hell of a bounce if it gets that far. But Cloud9, they are pushing an uphill battle against Singularity. They get Pome down. But Incognito are joining in on that battle as well from range. You can see they're out in the blue. K-Mind will find himself too. Loki goes down. Incognito will steal that one away. Insight sneaks the kill on the top there. It's a 2 for 2 so far. As Athletico back over the other side, they have FaZe Clan pushing the hillside next one. We're going to try and keep our eyes on exactly what's happening because the circle has shrunk very much onto centering onto the junkyard. As Cloud9, they've got themselves inside. They've got all 4 back on their feet. This is looking good for them.
I mean, at the same time, though, this is the sort of fights that we were seeing SSG take yesterday. They need to close this out quickly because ultimately they've got 35 seconds till next circle to come in, and they're getting third party from 2 other teams elsewhere. So the fact that this hasn't already been closed out is causing massive problems for C9.
FaZe are starting to breach the hill. We saw Senya going down. That was Athletico that picked a kill. FaZe are taking shots on Athletico at the same time. Na'Vi in all sorts of trouble. Just down to 1 as Vestelos has been downed as well by Drassel from range. Singularity, they've been exterminated by Cloud9. They'll be the first team down on the edge, but they've still got a long way to go. This circle is brutal shift for everybody involved.
Yeah, and the foot rotation they need to take now east ultimately is going to be Tempo and Incognito trying to kind of pinch them into this valley. As we do actually see Liquid getting hand-delivered.
They're benefiting so much from it. Spacestation, they've just got a knock on Chris. That takes G2 possibly down to 2 if they can get the finish there. I'm not too sure if they can get the flush, though. Meanwhile, FaZe, here we go. Nades up onto Flood. That's coming straight towards him. Extremes took a big hit. That nade continues to follow through. This is a battle for the top 2. With Na'Vi going down, this could be pivotal. Uber going for the push. Extremes just got the heal off in time and gets back up and gets him down instantly. And immediately takes some shots as Aitzi tries to go for himself. A bit of a play around the side, but he takes the fight. He has to back away. Spacestation are getting involved in this fight from long range.
And I mean, what can FaZe Clan do here? They have no other choice but to
Ghost is shooting them in the back. This is tragic. So FaZe are getting shot by Spacestation. You see Jason getting Mexi. Luca downed him and he gets instantly flushed out there. This is bad. They're both going down. Incognito taken down by Athletico. They're taking shots in the back. Luke's trying to back around the side. Flood's pushing in. And this all plays out for Team Liquid, who are sitting on the south with nothing to play for right now. They just have a great position. They have a crate. They have nothing ahead of them.
Yeah, and I'm liking this decision from Athletico. If they've got the opportunity to pull out, get the hell out of there now, because FaZe Clan aren't going to see this in the kill feed and just say, we'll sit back and we'll reset. They're going to be aggressive on this.
FaZe have instantly engaged with Ghost on the north side, so as soon as Athletico have backed out of it, FaZe have had to carry on their engagement. They've lost Mexi, but now they have Ghost pushing them. They catch Balak out, down to 4 hit points, gets inside the compound, but you can see Spacestation again from range, just getting a few little angles on him. Athletico's repositioned, they're continuing to take shots, and Bitloft, they get involved. Silzin, we've seen him all weekend long, handing out some perfect shots. Now he gets involved, and that takes Uber down.
I mean, this is not looking great for FaZe Clan now because Athletico have managed to get out. Obviously, we've got Liquid occupying the south side, not really contested by anybody. But this fight with FaZe Clan and Athletico is obviously the first and second position. So whoever comes out on this now is just going to bank the 3 placement points come top 8.
FaZe down to 1. It's just FuzzFace. He's in all sorts of trouble. He's getting pushed. McCoy gets around the smoke behind the back of him. They're both in the blue, trying to see what they can find. Anything comes out of the smoke? No! Fuzz goes down. FaZe are out 14th place. Now back down the south because Liquid are engaging with the Knights, and it is tip for tap back and forward. Ibby goes down, Reels will catch him out, but Team Liquid will eliminate the Knights and pick up the kills.
I mean, this is just working out so perfectly for Liquid now. Obviously, as well with this shift as well, we jump on board. Actually,
that's Tempo Storm and Hell Yeah Brother. Cloud9 and Red Canids also engaging on outside. So Cloud9 have been eliminated by Red Canids. Hell Yeah Brother go down. That's Tempo Storm finishing them off. We have fights all around the circle. We knew it was a brutal shift. It was going to force them to fight. And again, it shrinks onto the junkyard. So Bitloft, they're loving life right now. Team Liquid have managed to get everyone back on their feet. So they've only lost the beats so far, looking to try and take some serious points away from FaZe and Athletico.
But actually, we've got the race on now for this southern compound in Junkyard. If Team Liquid can identify that this is unoccupied right now, before the Rumblers do, because it looks like Rumblers are trying to move in as well. That's going to be huge for them. This compound in the south of Junkyard is going to be able to clear everything out on this south side.
Gemty and Samty, the brothers from Finland, moving in. They're going to get themselves into the compound now. They beat the Rumblers there. The Rumblers see it happening. Athletico took shots onto James. Don't know if anyone's got that crate either, but Jason Kapaha Waka go down. You hear it in IFX's voice. Epoch, unfortunately, your boys are gone.
Yeah, and this was, I mean, it's a good split from G2. Obviously, they've only got 2 up now. Udyr and Kane.
That nade. Pretty good. That's danger signs for the Aussies. Ghost are pushing on, and look at Drassel right up close and personal. It was Balok that was tossing those nades out. Couldn't push it round. Luke's already backed out of this fight. He's going to go down low and try and get a flank position, but he's taking shots. The Rumblers from range find Luke as he gets behind the rock.
And actually, yeah, Balok's going to take some shots on the back. Tempo Storm have already moved up to the northwest side of the circle. They took down Strimzy outside. He's going to bleed, probably die to the blues. We see Headsaw finally go down for Space Station, putting them in 10th spot. Na'Vi soon after in 9th. Yeah, we see Luke here with that flank.
This flank is paid off. They've actually got themselves another kill. Strimzy's just been down by Tempo.
Ghost round 8.
And Flood gets the other, and Ghost just dropped. They thought they had them surrounded, but the Aussies deliver again, and with a little help from Tempo Storm up on the hillside. That's the danger. This is one big dip. It's a bowl, basically, into the middle of the junkyard, so everybody around the side is now going to fight amongst themselves.
Yeah, I mean, Rumblers right now in a great position to take out G2 and occupy this east side, but beyond that, there isn't really a good spot to crash the junkyard on.
So James went back and he looted the crate. James with the Vector again. We see what you're doing, James. You're trying to get ahead of the meta. I see what you're doing. You're trying to say, I was the guy that played that in the tournament. Oh, okay. Rumblers, they had, what, 6 points, 7 points yesterday?
Yeah.
It was not a good day.
No.
This is their time to maybe try and shine and get back in it.
But this, one thing is, they've kept Lost alive. And we talked about this a number of times yesterday, where Lost dying first really impacted this team. They've kept 4 up with 7 teams left alive, so hopefully they can do something with this. We actually have Luke actually pushing towards Tempo. Sorry, Luke 12 from Athletico, but...
Ladies and gentlemen, your boy Dre, that's his third grenade thrown this entire tournament. There's the fourth as well. Your boy Dre is just padding his stats out right now. He's been the least amount of nades thrown. I don't know whether he's just like fighting against the meta and just saying, no, I will not throw nades, or whether it's because he died first time in the first 2 games, but he gets Luke down.
He doesn't need the nade.
The top fragger for the Aussies has gone down. Flood trying to hold the little off angle down low, catch them out. Is it going to work? He puts the damage into Miluk, but doesn't manage to take him down. And your boy Dre, well, looks like they're going to try and surround him.
I mean, actually, this third party is still coming in from G2 here, so Flood hasn't got a lot of options in terms of peeking over onto Tempo Storm.
Yeah, nothing they can do. That's Athletico, but they got themselves a placement point out of that. 7th place, a couple of kills. So it's just going to keep being very close between them and FaZe Clan. They've managed to gain, what, 1-2 points on FaZe there overall. It's down to Team Liquid now. They've picked up 5 kills already, and they're starting to hunt those placement points. I think it was only a 10-point gap between 4th place G2 as well. We shouldn't forget about them in 2nd place. But Bitloft, oh my word, it's a reversing challenge. I don't think I've ever seen that work out, but Rusty Zero does make it play, and he gets the second one down. Meanwhile, up on the hillside, Tempo Storm will get engaged by G2.
I mean, I said it, there's no good way to crash Junkyard, but I guess that's the best way you can do it.
It's just like, I've seen some weird crashes in my time, but going in reverse, I guess that's going to work out for you.
Sometimes you just got to send it, and they did.
He's in there, so Bitloft now have themselves a neighbor to worry about.
This is one of the problems that I said. Rumblers were in a great position to shut down the east side of the circle, but they've allowed G2 to get this wide split along this. Actually, yeah, with Udyr on a knock onto Dre, as Tempo have to run in the open.
Yeah, he's going to run across. He's got himself a little tree to hide behind, but that's about all. Not a great deal for him. Sharky's managed to make it down. He's got down into the junkyard in behind Harold's building. So Harold might have himself a neighbor moving in. Not too sure how happy he's going to be about that, as he manages to back away. Okay, Sharky's just going to smoke it off and cover off the room for a little bit of safety for Maluk to get down there. And Maluk should join him. So now G2 on the edge, Rumblers on the edge, Team Liquid in the southern compound.
Oh, that was a lucky bounce.
Wasn't sure where it was going. He got Maluk though on the way in, Ragnar did. So that takes Tempo down to 1.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the problem with obviously having the split that Bitloft have. They're occupying all 4 corners, and ultimately Sharky's got in here. Whether he can do something with it is another story.
He's holding the angle, Sharky. Is Harold who goes for peak? Okay, he's just going to try and sell it. Tries to sell it with a nade. He doesn't sell. He doesn't fall for it. He actually pushed it. Nice play from Sharky. Didn't quite work out, though. Read it well. Harold, well aware of the footsteps, takes down Tempo Storm.
I mean, that's clutch as well to come up. They didn't send anybody over to help Harold in that building, so the fact that he has to kill time so the other 2 teammates can still look at, you know, whether or not they're going to get pushed from anywhere else. But, you know, Harold coming up clutch in that 1v1 against Sharky.
Well, I got to be honest, you know, Player unknown is in the house. What are these crates? Like, you're dropping it out by the blue. What are you doing to us? What are you doing to us? Honestly, he's obviously been backstage and, you know, coded this.
There is still one coming down. Just
yeah, that's what I say. That's the crate he's just thrown out by Rumblers right on the edge of the blue. The other one down, way out in the blue. I don't know if Rumblers, they're obviously seeing it come in. Harold sees Kane trying to make his way through. G2 still looking for as many placement points as they can get. You can see closing the gap on Athletico.
I mean, G2 have done well to pick up some kill points, though, throughout this. Just from being kind of playing this passive, obviously the SSG kills were fairly free in rotation, but the fact that they've managed to stay up here and they're still active in the kill feed is really impressive.
There's no way in for them, though. Look at the line. G2 have to make that move, that play. Rumblers, okay. Microfry's going for it.
Everyone's
going
shooting
for
them.
it. Yeah, everybody's shooting Kane. I'll be surprised. Rumblers take a couple of shots onto Bitloft. That actually bought Kane a little bit of time, but Silzin will get him down. Odia's the last man standing as well for G2 now. As the Rumblers. So Microfry made the play. It worked out. Rumblers are running on the back of it.
But Rumblers with 0 kills. We were at 12 alive, 5 teams remaining. They're still at 0 kills, and they've just sat on this side of the circle. Not tried to pressure any teams away, but this isn't the sort of game that Rumblers needs.
Well, they have Team Liquid nearest to them. Udia still trying to use the smoke. Spotted. Rumblers will pick up the kill. They're on the board to get the first kill. So G2 down in 5th place. And Liquid now will be finishing this round in 1st. Exactly the start they were looking for after a poor performance, really, in the last 3 games yesterday. They were kicking themselves and not winning that final game as well.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the things with no team is not going to be tilted after those games yesterday. And you could kind of see it after the games. Team Liquid weren't happy with the performance in a few of them, but this is when good teams bounce back. And we see James actually making huge strides towards the middle of the circle here. With the Vector, obviously. I think this must be the first time.
He's making sure he always has it selected so we see it.
Well, this must be the first time somebody's gone to a crate and not looted it and still come away with a Vector and a Mini 14.
That's a good point. I wonder what was in that crate way back down there. I don't know. Because, yeah, he stuck with it and stuck with a Mini. So maybe it was, I don't know, M249. Didn't fancy it?
Yeah, I'd take the Vector.
I mean, it'd be the AUG. You got to go for the AUG, surely. I don't know. Don't know. It's not the days where, you know, you used to go to the crate and used to be Car 98. You'd be like, really?
You don't remember the Tommy gun? The Tommy gun used to be
the Tommy gun.
And the VSS.
I remember. Oh my word. Well, that's a grosser. It wasn't that great. It was further south. I think it should be looted now by now. But he went back and got obviously the gear out of it. The Rumblers are going for it. Okay, Microfy. This is going right in towards James as well. Bitloft. We shouldn't count Bitloft out, by the way. They could pick up some decent points here. They put a lot of pressure onto Na'Vi yesterday on Erangel as well. So we expect it to play out when we hit Erangel between Na'Vi and Bitloft. So they are one of the highest placed teams for LATAM region. It was M249. There you go. Just got a glimpse of it. Thank you very much, observers. Always on point. Rumblers still trying to get in point, but Harold and Gemty sees them in the smoke. And it's almost the flag now. As soon as that smoke goes down, everybody shoots it.
Yeah, and I mean, this setup from Team Liquid right now, they still obviously got 2 people down at the compound, but James' position actually allows them to control the entire center of the map. And obviously, Samty and Gemty can pressure anybody that's going to come towards James.
Lost caught in that. He's going to be gone, and no way they're going to get a revive on him, so that's going to be 1 down. Microfry caught out Samty.
That's a big nade.
James catching Waldo mid-air there. Oh no, they're all falling. Rumblers, they were just sitting too passively outside the circle, and they're looking like to fall here. Waldo, the last man now alive. Don't think he's going to get the revive on Microfry either.
No, and I mean, right now, just needs to sit and wait for somebody else to fight, but it doesn't look like anything's going to kick off until this final circle pops, to be honest.
Okay, so Team Liquid realistically have a better angle on this, but Bitloft look like they're going to kind of send it. Gemty's moved up, that gets him in position, so now James has gone right up close. But he doesn't know about Rusty Zero. Still in here from the red Canids. Oh, he just took a big blip. Oh, he's going to get straight shots into the back of James. Goes down low. Silzin actually saves him? Are you kidding me? James gets away with murder there. Silzin's going looking for kills, though. He wants to find the rest of Team Liquid. Goes around the side. Don't forget, Waldo from the Rumblers is still alive. James gets himself healed up. I cannot believe he survived that.
He had no business walking away from that, but Silzin actually saving James's life.
Oh, Molly's down on Waldo. I don't know if that caught him. It looked like it was pretty close. He's forced to back away from this one as the shots return. But Team Liquid, James is starting to flush through now. He's starting to go building to building and try and work his way across. Mini 14 now in hand, looking to Waldo. Waldo's got nowhere to go. Everybody knows where he is. It's the blue that steals the kill away. James, you got the blue on your back. You can't take a hit. He can't get through.
Oh, he can't get through.
The blue's going to kill him. Oh, no, James. Oh, no. What a way to go. Gemty and Samty, the brothers from Finland. No, you're not going to get the revive. You just try and pick up the pieces, see if you can steal away the meds. It's Team Liquid, 2 members versus 3 members of Bitloft.
I mean, right now, that actually puts Team Liquid on the back foot, but Bitloft not actually taking the opportunity to push out and pressure the last remaining members of Team Liquid, so it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out.
Smoke's down, but Gemty holds the angle. Samty down low, so they're trying to smoke off the one that they knew and try and give themselves a position around there. I'm not too sure if that's going to work out as they try and hold it. We saw Samty going huge yesterday as well, delivering a massive performance of 8 kills. Tries to get the spray down, caught out, he gets taken down. Harold, now it's all on Gemty. Surely in the 3-1, the headshot comes in, and Bitloft will take it. They get themselves the win. Team Liquid in second.
I mean, a great awareness there from Bitloft to swing back round. Perfect timing, but I mean, that death for the blue. James going down to the blue there was huge, really damaged their chances, and ultimately he was in the best position to kind of capitalize on that final team fight.
Well, they sat in the junkyard from very much the start. It kind of went to them, but it's one of those games, but they were proactive. They had Tempo Storm crash in their compound. They had Red Canids crash in their compound. They had G2 trying to push up on them. They kept fighting them and keeping them at bay. They deserved the win in the end. They kept all 3 alive. Just losing the 1 man to the Red Canids push.
I think
the weird push.
The weird push, yeah. I think actually, yeah, it's good to see these guys pick up a win. We've seen them active all weekend. It's one of the teams that there was a lot of questions over Bitloft coming into this competition, but yeah, actually showing up, they can come up solid in the final circle against a team like Team Liquid. You can't really fault them for that.
Well, I've commentated Tilson before in the Wingman tournament, the GLL Wingman tournament, which is the duos tournament they had, and we spotted him there, and he had some monster performances in that game. So I'm not too surprised to see him performing now in a squad mentality.
Well, he actually came into this as literally the highest performer,
miles ahead of everyone, right?
Miles ahead in the region. So, yeah, actually fantastic to see him deliver that on the main stage here.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, now where does that put them, I wonder? Because we were talking about it at the top of the show. If a team were to come into this and have some monster performances, we know that Team Liquid are now in first place. We know that it's moved them ahead of FaZe Clan and Athletico just by the fact they had the kills and the placement points, that's put them up there. But with Bitloft picking up a win like that, what's it do for the region? Do we see some craziness starting to come out from some of these teams? Remember, you know, there is that extra slot.
Yeah, there is.
And that means a hell of a lot to the LATAM region, as well as obviously PL and MPL, that's a given, but it would be giving them the 6th slot. Whereas you think in a LATAM and Oceania, it's giving them like the 3rd slot in there for the Global Championships. There's lots.
There'll be a dream come true.
This is going to be a wild day. This is going to be a wild day. I'm really looking forward to this. I mean, I'm kind of tingling myself now. I'm going to get excited about some of these games, how it's going to play out when we get over to Erangel. But all credit to Bitloft, you know, as you say, we saw them engaging in a 4v4, a wild 4v4 yesterday against Na'Vi, and coming out on top.
But this is it now as well. With them moving towards this, you know, below 4th on the leaderboard is a cluster, and now we could have another team that's in the mix that could just completely throw other teams off.
Well, we'll find out how it works, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go down to the big stage. Rachel's with Bitloft.
Thank you guys so much. I'm here with Ragnar, and Bitloft has had a great showing throughout the weekend, but hasn't managed to secure a victory until now. So talk to me a little bit about how you've seen your team grow over the course of the weekend.
I mean, the first day, we were like so scared of another teams, but we were gaining like confidence slowly. And yesterday we had like 3 Miramar games. No, 3 Miramar games that made us like more confident. So as a team, we were so prepared for today, and I think we are gonna be like we want to end like top 5. So that's our goal.
Well, preparation met luck in this match. Not only were you feeling more prepared than ever, but the circle was giving you some love as well. Early on, you guys found yourself in the junkyard compound, a nice little spot, but you kept getting crashed. Talk to me about your team communication and what you were thinking in those moments.
I mean, when the first circle, we had like right rotation, but we were so late, so we just stayed on the edge, and we were advancing, and we watched that every compound was free, so we just took it. And in the fight, Harald was like holding like so good, and I got Meluk on the left, so that was not like a hard fight because Harald is so good. Yeah, I mean, he's like a very, very good player, so it was like easy, you know.
I'm glad to hear you trust your team so well to perform. You guys coming from the Latin American region, what can you tell me about this region in PUBG?
I mean, we were like so pissed off because every team underestimated us in the tournament, and we are showing that they are wrong. I mean, it's like we were like poor region in the past, but I think with more experience we can like show off and prove that we are a good region.
Well, this weekend is a great start to you guys doing that, and I want to give you the opportunity to address the fans that have been with you since the beginning and all the new fans that you're picking up all weekend long.
I mean, thank you all for the support, and you can expect more from us in the future. And I want to shout out Iguin, who is the best car of Brazil.
Please go ahead, do your shout outs, and if you'd like to address them in your native language as well.
No, that's it. Just Iguin that he's the best car of Brazil.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for the interview. Back to you guys on the desk.
Great stuff. Thank you, Rachel and Ragnar, for that interview. A great cast from D-Man and Hypop. Welcome back to the desk. Now, Bitloft getting their first win of the tournament on the final day. I didn't speak to you on purpose. We ran into each other in the lift. It's Ernesto. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce his in-game name, but Ernesto. You know, piercings, tattoos and stuff. Yeah. And I was like, how are you guys feeling for today? What's the plan? Whatever. He's like, man, we want to get a win. We want to at least get a win and just improve our position. They've done that in the first match of the day. So I guess the plan's going according to how they wanted it to.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're representing their region very well. This is going to move them up into the top 5 if I don't miss my guess. And they've been very open. I think they came here to prove something. Like, they stopped, they talked to you in the elevator, they stopped me in the lobby to talk to me. Like, they want to get the message out there. I think that we have been an underrated region for a long time, and we deserve a look, and I think they proved it with that game.
A lot of people from that region was counting on Singularity and, of course, Red Canids, because we saw Red Canids in FaZe Global Summit as well. But over here at the GLL Grand Slam, it's all about the Bitloft. First win for LATAM, and it's great to see.
Yep. Indeed. Now, let's go downstairs for the first time today to check in with Toby for our breakdown.
Thank you, Paul. The final day, Latin American region is on the board as well. And what I want to take you into this time around is the start of the game. We're just moments before Circle 3 pops, and we have a very, very specific area of the map that we want to keep our focus on here. We have a road going through the valley from the area of Hacienda over towards El Azahar. Really, really difficult area to first off drive through, and most importantly, to cross. We have a split right now of 4 teams on the northern side and a solid 12 teams down south. You have an area where the majority of the circle is down south, so most teams down here are betting, hoping that if it comes to it, the circle shifts, we have a bigger chance of getting the circle on our side than if going north, because you want to be on the right side from the bat of it. So by the time the circle pops, boom, hard shift down south. Now the teams up north, they're in similar spots right now, but how they've gotten here and what they can do from this spot right now is very, very different. Athletico, if we go back just a little bit, they have been here for a while. They have had a chance to scout further forward and see what's available over on the other side. In the meantime, FaZe and SSG, they have been running side by side, fighting each other off all the time, delaying their rotations, meaning they're going to come into this one completely blindfolded. No info to go for whatsoever. And on the western side, the 4th team, Na'Vi, same situation for them. They were late on their rotation. They came in far from the west, stayed on the side. Shift didn't go their way, and now they have to make an equal rotation in, completely blind. And what we see here is what solidifies these 3 to 4 teams in their play styles. SSG, if they can avoid taking a fight early game, they will do that. They will rather go into a spot where it's arguably harder to play from, with the chance of getting a couple of circles gifted later on. They make their rotation down towards the western side in an area where you kind of once again will have to cross that valley, same type of valley, but they want to postpone that. They want to have a chance of making a play later. Athletico, they have the scouting. They've seen what's available. They're going to cross over immediately. FaZe, on the other hand, they say we have no info. We cannot just blindly push this. We will play off of our fragging power. We'll stay on the edge. We'll take the fight to it. And once Na'Vi comes up and says hello on the hilltop, we can roll a little clip here and see exactly the terrain they're going through. Such a steep hill. And you could say, sure, Na'Vi, they have the info. They can look down towards FaZe. But FaZe, they're saying, Na'Vi, you have to cross eventually. We'll be sitting here. We'll be waiting for you. And there's no way in the universe that you guys are coming over to the other side of this road. So what Na'Vi has to do, make the traverse all the way back towards the western side. Doesn't work out for them. Becomes a hard game for all of them. Sometimes you get those circles to shift away from you. In this case, it happened for all 4 teams, unfortunately for them. But there's, of course, more games to be played today. Paula, that's it for me. Back to you.
5 more games to be exact, Toby. An amazing breakdown, as always. Guys, we can get the scoreboard up now from our first match of the day and see exactly what took place. Bitloft with a healthy 20 points in first, 12 points to Team Liquid, which is definitely going to get them into first place. Tempo Storm in third, 9 points joint with Red Canids. Tempo, good for them to get some points on the board.
I mean, it's good news for everybody that FaZe Clan and Athletico both went out on the right side of the board, right? We're at that point in the day where we're looking to always be who's on the left, where's the left side of the board at. So them losing points early is good news because there's a lot of space opening up, but Liquid, I think, was the big winners here.
Yes.
Kills, putting those points on the board, and that's what Liquid likes to do, is they grind little by little by little until it's impossible to catch up, and that's what they're doing right now.
They've been so consistent across all of our days, and it's paying dividends as we come into our final day now, with that first matchup of the day, pushing them up 2 spots into first with 113 points, but it's close behind them for us. 109 for FaZe, 107 for Athletico, and G2 with 104.
It's still super close on the top tier, and still, like Bitloft, for example, they were aiming for top 5. We heard that from Ragnar just now. I think they should aim for higher than that. They are definitely capable of doing more than top 5. Just keep on pushing it.
That would be crazy if that developed over the course of today, right? Bitloft kept improving their position.
I mean, I would love to see nothing more than Bitloft push up onto Athletico and FaZe and Liquid, and we get this sort of 3-region battle for #1. I don't want to write NA off completely yet, but it's starting to feel that way. But it seems like the opportunity to have 2 regions that were smaller, that were written off by sort of the big brothers, the PEL and NPL guys, battling for the top 5, battling for first, is a great story and a great development option, sort of showing off their region. You know, the guys who are watching, the guys that they left home from their leagues, their fans, have to be hyped about this.
I mean, PL and MPL, they had 5 slots each as well. They have LATAM and OC coming in with only 3 slots each, but they're doing a fantastic job here, staying on the top with the big guys.
Absolutely. Don't write Bitloft off, like you said. These guys are strong. They seem like they came here to play. They had a bit of a chip on their shoulder when we chatted this morning about, you know, they said, we didn't hot drop Na'Vi. Na'Vi hot dropped us, and we made them pay yesterday. And I think that they want to show, like, honestly, I feel like that fight at the Red Houses yesterday that we saw Bitloft win was a little like Na'Vi sort of trying to flex on them and saying, we could have left this. They landed before we did, but it'll be 4 kills, right? Like, that was sort of the mentality that a lot of teams had about Latin America. They punished them yesterday, and they punished everybody else today.
Well, it's also a testament from Bitloft themselves saying, hey, who do you think you are? This is our territory now. And we'll see that later on today when we go back to Erangel.
I got you, bro. I got you. I've seen it slipping around. I got you, bro. Don't worry about it. Is that it? Finishing thoughts there with you, Patrick?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good stuff. No, I was just double checking because we are ready for a break now. Thank you so much for your input. I think one of the big takeaways is that at this point, with 5 matches to go, we've got some people leading the front, but there is no clear winner at this stage. Everything is up for grabs, and let's see how it develops over the rest of today. Do not go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back with Game 2 after this short break.